Morning. This is Gat Puno Abon, Garimot Baet again. Today's topic, Siete Henerales Esgrima, the Filipino Spanish fencing that Paete, Laguna has been practicing since 1700. Record dictate in Paete records that the Paete has practices esgrima since that year and hosts a tournament in Laguna on every town feast or festivities or fiesta, which is July 25. That's exact date of the record. And they record also that most Spencer or those Spencer or practice of swordmanship, they start a procession of their sword based on their rank and before the tournament they procession or parade in town and then go to town plaza before the tournament start. Siete Henerales Esgrima is a forgotten art already in Paete, Laguna. I first learned about it when I was in church. As a boy, as an altar boy, I work as an altar boy. I saw a sword. I saw a sword in the Catholic Church. This is the old baptismal place, and I saw a sword, and about 2, 3, 4 of them, and I was told that I have no. They forbid us to touch them. So, I have not touched them, but as naughty as I am, as a kid, probably I was 9 or 8, at that time. Yeah, Sister Paring, which is our catechism teacher, brought me to church to become church helper or sacristan. And our sacristan mayor told us that we cannot touch anything right on the old baptismal area, which is I saw a beautiful bells. I think that's bells is have a little crack. That's why it's there, and sword, and I even see a helmet, an old helmet, 2 of them, or even 3. I don't know. I don't see that because I'm not allowed to touch it. But I touched the sword. I touched the sword. I see it how light it is, how heavy it is. And as a kid, I think that's very heavy sword. Anyway, Siete Henerales. It's been practicing in Paete that said year, 1700. And I learned it from my dad. When in 1973, he demonstrated. But I don't really, honestly, I kind of don't understand it. At the same time, I'm not impressed by it because I see it very. I see it slow. Slow motion. I don't see it in speed. I don't see how it will work on the real battle. That's my mind as a child, as a kid, and further lessons of my dad to esgrima, the Siete Henerales, I realized the importance of fencing. So, probably 78 or 77, when I really fully understand the whole curriculum of Siete Henerales. And it helped me to understand distance. It helped me to understand more the beauty of swordmanship. So I studied them. That's the same year I find out that my dad studied Tucato Palatino, which is one of the protege of the priest of in Paete, which is Padre Nicomedes Rosal. That was the priest back on 1930s to 1940 or 40, oh, after the war, 1945. So anyway, he's been there, and Mr. Cato Palatino, it was I think it's I'm not sure the quiet information, but he is work in charge, close to the priest, and they have this Siete Henerales aficionado, or trying to find more link of a different fencing and bring it to life. I also learned that Maestro Benito Daxil, Gabriel Baisas, and many more Maestro of Arnis is also a Siete Henerales Esgrima practitioner. So my dad studied under them. And luckily, my dad's alive when I learned the art. Or else, I would never learn it. So I asked my dad to teach me further everything in and out of the Siete Henerales. I have no choice at that time. That's my dad and I spent so much hours in the rice field, because when he got sick in 1980, I took care of the farm until 1985. 5 years straight before I leave the country. And actually, 1986, I left the country. So, on that 6 years expanse, or 5 years expanse, my dad and I studied all of the in and out part of the Garimot Arnis and the Siete Henerales Esgrima. It's part of it. It's only one part of it. Not focus on that, because we have so much. I have the Relosteros, Corto Largo. I have all of those studies 24/7. Laban Tulisan, Harawas, Combari Barnis. All of those I have to learn from my dad. Learn it based on what he remember, and he want me to find out to other maestro if anybody knows those systems. Anyway, Siete Henerales stand out. Siete Henerales Esgrima is the only fencing art, is the only art that teach swordmanship. When everybody teach blade, bolo, because we don't practice pitong palo, or siete palo. I don't practice siete palo. I practice pitong taga, or siete colores. Taga means using blade. All right, using blade. That's very word that we use in abecedario is pitong taga, or siete colores cutting. Is significant enough that the art is based on blade. Anyway, last night, my history went back, breakthrough. Tim Rivera has been my student for 20 years. He hid it from me what he found about Siete Henerales Esgrima from Spain. Last night, out of the bloom, a name, what is his name? Nerda? What is his name? Nerda? I forget the name anyway. Came out of nowhere. Comment on the bottom of my post about Siete Henerales. He said exactly what he said. He said, God, it look like a Spanish fencing. And then he posted a Siete Henerales YouTube channel with about 139 members on it. And surprisingly, I see the video. Who's doing it is my own student for 20 years, Tim Tamarao Rivera. And I was wondering why Tim Tamarao Rivera hide it from me the information about Siete Henerales Esgrima. And I've been talking to him about that for almost 12 years. But keep in mind, I realized what he did. he don't want me to change my story based on his word, or based on his finding on the Siete Henerales. Siete Henerales Esgrima in Spain is actually exists on 1639. It came from the south of Spain with the name Luis Diaz de Viedma on 1639. He is a proponent, a fencer, a proponent of Carranza Esgrima. He published a book, 2 books he said, about how to teach esgrima or enseña de la esgrima. Okay, so that's the way I understand it. But the most important information, my research in Paete, and my research that went nowhere when I was researching about Siete Henerales everywhere. It doesn't pop up that name, nor I have the luck to finding anywhere. And just last night, it surfaced what I'm looking for. I don't want to link it. I'm just happy that exists the name and it's connected to Spain. What a coincidence. 1639 and in Paete, record dictate 1700. That's not far. That's not far from each other. But it's far, the places, because in separate side of the world, right? Paete, Philippines, and south of Spain. So, but needless to say, connection is probabilities there because we are colonized by Spain since 1526, 21. Of course, that's what they said. Record said, okay? Until 1898. So, Siete Henerales Esgrima must been brought to the Philippines, to my town, or to other town also, on that year. You know? Who knows? Maybe the book that he published reached Paete. Who knows? Maybe the book that Luis Diaz de Viedma reached Paete. Or the soldier that came to Paete to govern is a Siete Henerales Esgrima practitioner. But on my research so far, it's linked to the priests that been in Paete for that long. I don't know if, because there's no record who among the priests who brought that in Paete. That's something I have to find out. But I don't want to just claim it, just to link it. Like I said, my art, or the Siete Henerales Esgrima of Paete, stand alone and beautiful without connection to any Carranza Discresa or Destreza de Verdadera de Carranza. I could be careless, but if I can find a records more to strengthen the link and probability of connection of the Siete Henerales of Paete and Spain, that's going to be a plus. But anyway, if anybody's hearing this and listening to my thing, help me out. If you could help me search it. If you could help me search it, the Siete Henerales, not only in Paete, maybe you can search it among Philippines. Remember, Philippines is governed by Spain for such a long time, 400 something years. And this information surface, imagine 300 years later, it surfaced because of me. And nobody can explain it, nor I can explain it how we get to Paete. The only thing I remember is when I was researching it, I found several books talking about it. Paete, a book written by Eugenio Quesada on 1956. It's tell the story about the fencing in Paete on 1700. Also, two more authors that talk about it, including Teodoro Kahumban and Neil Africano. Anyway, I just want to talk about that, give you guys some good news. A surface of Siete Henerales Esgrima is actually a true art from Spain. But why it changed? That's one thing we need to find out and investigate. Why, when you get to Philippines or to my town, the form and the practice and theory change. And I want to see the comparison of both arts. Tim Rivera and everybody that practice Siete Henerales from Spain I would love to sit down and really see what is the comparison and what is the differences. Anyway, thank you very much. This is Gat Puno Abon. If you like what you hear and you like to continue following me, subscribe and pass this along. I love you. Bye-bye. See you next time.